Hey Casey, thanks for being here.
Hey, how are you doing today?
Good, good. Well, thank you for joining this call. It's um, been fun using the tool that you and I are both um, familiar with,
Yep,
Syllabi. So,
yep.
yeah, share a little bit about your background and how you got involved using this AI technology called Syllabi.
So I have been in internet marketing since 2010, and I do a little bit of everything. I'm one of those guys that people call to when they can't figure out how to do something. So I like to study and research and find new things. With all the AI stuff coming out, it that just goes right up my alley. Like Syllabi, where we met doing like faceless videos. Um, those I am not the most presentable on videos or stages, but I know how to get the work done. So getting my thoughts out to the public without having to be on video was a big bonus for me. Um, I know there's so many things that can happen in the video world, and just sharing thoughts out there, like even that's going to sound a little weird. Even like my parents who are in their 60s are getting more and more involved in AI. Well, my mom calls it Al, so we'll go with Al. Uh, she uses it to check text messages to us before she sends it out to us. Make sure she got everything right and all the points across. And I'm like, Mom, we're your children. We don't care. We just want you to send us the text and go on. So, but yeah,
Yeah, your mom probably is familiar with the classic movie with the AI, and Al.
yeah, yeah.
Well, that is cool that there are certain generations that are open to embracing it. To the point you were making, though, which you express that sometimes just to get your point across, using AI, faceless video AI helps because I can say for certainty with for myself, I've been doing video podcast, and often the act of having to get, put makeup on and do my hair and the lighting, and then if I want to do just a short little tutorial and get video or yeah, camera ready, it's just so much effort.
Yeah,
But
and
and what if we could take shortcuts, especially as marketing gurus who wear so many hats as entrepreneurs, right?
yeah, yeah, and like you were saying, just getting in the right mindset to do a video, that's like 90% of my effort is just to be able to get focused for
Yeah.
30 minutes, prepare myself for what's about to happen, as compared to doing a faceless. I just use a script and put it in, and boom, pops out a video. Then I just edit it to make it look a little bit more like me. So, but yeah, yeah, I
I
totally get that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've played around with syllabi, but for those who are not familiar at all with this technology, maybe even barely familiar with AI, maybe describe what it means to do faceless videos.
So basically, the way Syllabi works is you could give it a full script, or just, since I'm a nerd if you can't tell behind me. Um, but you could give it just like the word Pokemon, and it will generate a script for a video based on your word or topic. And then all you do is hit generate, and it will look at the whole paragraph and then break it down into sentences and generate images based on each sentence. So it knows the overall view of what you're trying to get accomplished and puts that all in a video. Syllabi is really good because they will do the little captions on top. You can add background music. You can, if you want to schedule 30, 150 at a time, you could do that. So that's why I like it. I mean, I think in my notes I sent you for this, I was at like 1,900 subscribers. Now I broke 2,000 on my completely faceless channel. Um, the only thing that's of me on there is my voice. The rest of it's all 100% AI.
And there's a bunch of points I want to make on that note. And I hit all these points. One is that while you may be the voice for those who are, um, for those who have fear or skepticism about AI, one of the criticisms I often hear is you lose your creativity or originality or authenticity. But in this case, the subject matter expertise is you. You are bringing your knowledge. So while Pokemon is an example, it could be that, let's say you wanted to help me with email marketing and you wanted to put together a little how to for someone who's a novice. It would be your intelligence with your voice.
Yeah, exactly. So me, I use for certain, like I have 4 channels right now. On 2 of them, I use Syllabi's script generator. On my main channel, I use my own script generator based solely in ChatGPT because I wanted it more of my voice and not just a generic overview of facts. So in ChatGPT, which they just came out with projects, I don't know if you've seen those yet.
I just
The,
heard about it.
those are amazing. Um, so basically, what I did on ChatGPT was I created a custom GPT before projects came out, and I uploaded my writing styles. Like, okay, and let me say this: if you're a beginner and you don't have any of this stuff, go find somebody that has the style you like and grab all of their stuff, and you can put it in ChatGPT, and it will write like them.
So this morning, you might even know this individual who posted on Facebook, but he said he did that to mimic Steve Jobs. And I've done that. And I'm not against stealing. I maybe there's someone out there in the marketing world, which there are plenty, that they say things that are the way I'd like to be spoken to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's I have never. There's a Ryan Daniel Moran. Just get on his email list. If you want to know how to write good selling emails, this dude does conferences and sells out, and it's like a $10 million conference. And you're like, how? And then you start getting his emails, and you're like, oh, okay. Well, I need to write. I want to write my emails like him when I have a conference. So let me go ahead and just start collecting all these, putting them in a Google Doc. So when I'm ready, I just upload it to ChatGPT and be like, hey, here's everything you need to know about what I'm about to do. Make me a 10 email sequence to get people to buy tickets. You could, for scripts, like video scripts, there's faceless AI channels that have like 4 or 5 videos out there, and they'll have 100, 200,000 subscribers. So you can find those guys, grab their scripts that they're using and their style, and put it into your chat GPT and be like, okay, well, I'm not doing sci-fi, but I am going to do, we'll stick with Pokemon, and write me a script in that same style for Pokemon. So you're borrowing the
Style.
how they the style and platform and how they keep people's attention.
and for those like you who are like, well, what does this have to do with mindfulness or mindset? I argue that a lot because you're an entrepreneur, right? A solopreneur,
Yeah,
perhaps.
solopreneur.
And tell me how many hours we spend on any one task, even
Oh,
pre-AI days.
so it, it's definitely a mindset shift because I know when AI started really coming out, everybody was in the mindset that everybody's going to lose a lot of jobs. And for me, it's more of wait, now instead of taking me hours to do something, like realistically hours and hours, now I can set it up to I just ask it a question and it gives me my answer.
Yes.
So, like replying to Google reviews for my clients. Well, normally I'd have to go read everything that they wrote, get all my files out from what my client has told me how they want to respond, and then sit down and write a review. Well, now I have all those files in a chat GPT and I just copy and paste and it spits me out exactly how that particular client wants to have their
Mhm.
reviews responded to.
And
So mindset shift wise is AI, it still has a lot of work to go. Don't get me wrong. I use it every day. It has a lot of work to go, but you got to think of it as a tool to save you more time and not this is bad for the world. Uh, I mean, I
like
save hours.
yeah, I mean, tell me what you enjoy. Like, let's say more, I would say spiritually or mindfully. What is your why? What is your if you the thing that if you weren't didn't have to work that you enjoy outside of that?
We just moved out to a little farm. And so, like, I've been enjoying just every night, me and my wife sit outside and watch our chickens. We have goats now. And that's my why. I mean, just to be able to free up time to spend with her. Because
Exactly.
I've done this whole solopreneur since 2010 and I missed a lot of time I wish I had back.
Hmm.
So,
Yes. So you've gained the time, and you've gained what I feel like an agent, or let's say there's an assistant right out of college just sitting next to you, and they're smart. They may have the skills, but they need to learn the rope. And you're like, well, this is how I speak. This is how what I do.
yeah.
And that's now helping you free up time. And here's another argument that I feel you could maybe even substantiate is as a solopreneur, our budget is limited. We're not a large corporation. We barely want to have a VA, but
Yeah.
what our VA is our agent, which we will be patient because, like you said, they're not perfect.
Yep. They're not. And I mean, it is definitely like having a VA because it's not 100% perfect, but it's close enough to where you just tweak a couple little things and you're good to go. So the budget constraints, yeah, as a solopreneur, it makes a huge difference. Because I've done corporate work. When you got unlimited budget, you could do whatever you want. It don't matter. When you got solopreneur budget, you can make a whole lot of things happen with AI for no extra cost.
Yes, the AI, like you're describing, your AI and different types of AI tools that you use serve as your copywriter, copy editor, your maybe entry level marketing individual. And now with Syllabi, going back to that, it allows you to be the voice behind the brand and the intelligence. And one thing I'd like for you to maybe go deeper for those who are not that familiar with even Syllabi is that it has a capability of allowing you to custom create a custom voice.
Yeah. Yeah. So in there, you can actually upload 3 3-minute audio files of your voice. So when you do it, you want to make sure that it is nice and there's no other sounds. It's you having a normal conversation like you were talking, like we're talking right now. Don't be like, "Hi, my name is," because it's going to talk exactly how you do, whether you fumble it really badly or you do it really good. Um, if you can get some kind of headset when you do it, it'll just help the clarity work a whole lot better. Um, if you there's you want to fill out the whole 3 minutes. So you got 3 3-minute options. Use all 9 minutes that you have. Um, it'll just make for a better working experience with your AI. There's a like if you with Syllabi, they even have avatars. So you could do a recording of yourself and use your voice so it sounds like it's coming from you, but it's just really all AI generated. So that's one of the things that I will probably start using in 2025 just to help make produce more videos faster with me in them.
Yeah, like the avatars can be of different um, types, and it would be your voice, your intelligence that you can then use machine learning to train it over time. Um,
Yeah.
an example of one that I've created, well, I've created a few, and I wanted you to go deeper into the value of it as your SEO engine and when it's coupled with YouTube, because for those who are not aware, um, being a solopreneur means that you need to basically get your word out, and it's hard because I don't want to say we're fighting, but you're trying to crack the code on algorithms, and marketing via video is a very strong way to do it, especially when you're putting it out on YouTube. But coupled with AI, there's some magic there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with your titles and your actual voice script and then your descriptions, like adding chapters. Adding chapters in your description is a big bonus. Like you can use, so if you go to Google, scroll down to the bottom of the first page, all those extra questions that people are always, uh, people is, what does it say? People also ask, and then it has like 8 or 10 questions. You can use those as chapters in your videos. And Google is smart enough to know that it can read that and it will help place your video at that time marker where you're talking about it in that video. And it'll help show up in the Google results. So it'll help drive you traffic that way too. So all of it's for your rankings and your SEO, all of it works together. The more you do, the better off you'll be. Um, if you're just trying to rank specifically on YouTube, click, like, and watch. So you got to get them to click your videos, actually like the video, and watch it forever, basically. And then YouTube's whole theory behind everything is how can we get them to stay on YouTube forever?
Yeah,
If you have a video that takes them off of YouTube, that doesn't look good on you.
yeah,
Basically, you want them rotating one video to the next video to the next.
yeah, absolutely. I always have a YouTube window open, and the types of content that I listen to or watch um, is ranges from something that's very deeply personal, like I could be listening to meditation music, or music to focus, or it could be, um, I usually have two or three windows open on something that's a hot topic in our field in
Yeah.
marketing, because it changes, or there's something that's going to put you over the edge. Um, so you touched upon the marketing aspect, getting bumping yourself higher in the
Yeah.
search, which is really crucial. You've also talked about the intelligence behind the syllabi, like it being able to mimic your voice, and you are able to put in your own intelligence. Perhaps you can even share that when you're writing a script, let's say it's about some topic that your audience wants to know about. Um, Maybe touch upon the machine learning aspect, that when you give it a script or any information, it's almost like a dance because you can go back and forth and keep refining.
Yeah. Yeah. You can definitely go back and keep refining. Um, I've argued with my ChatGPT quite a bit. Because there's like obviously in videos you want a really good strong hook at the beginning and then a call to action at the end, but making it to where it all fits seamlessly without sounding like just a 100% ad that you just watched is quite the tricky subject. So training it on good videos that have good hook, whether it's in your niche or not, it'll really help that out. Um, it it can get smart, and it's all. I was watching a video today, and basically, you got to think of yourself as a product manager. You manage a product, and that's it. ChatGPT is the 18-year-old that just got out of high school and thinks they know everything. You need to manage them and get ChatGPT or any AI tool to do what you want it to do. If you're not going to manage it and just be like, hey, what color is the sky? And it replies back blue. Well, it may be today, but tomorrow it could be gray. So, how do you respond?
And it also makes some assumptions. It's getting better from a year ago, but let's say your, what we call in our marketing world, your ideal client avatar or your target audience is um, from a certain age range and you know a certain interest. You will need to train it at times to say, my ICA isn't intimidated by technology. My ICA wants to learn more things, and you don't have to dumb it down for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like, there's some like my my conspiracy theory channel. I have it right at a 12th grade reading level. My religious channel, I have it right at a 6th grade level. So content on websites I do, it writes at a 5th grade level. So you definitely want to know your audience and what you're trying to hit.
Yeah, absolutely.
What, yeah, yeah. I was just gonna say you need to keep in mind that like as a world, we only read like at a 3rd grade level. So when you start thinking about that, keep that in mind. Some of the stuff that it spits out is way too intelligent for the average viewer. So you don't have to be like a kindergartner because I made a video for a kindergartner for my mom with, so bringing it back to Syllabi, I made a, back in October, I made a Santa Claus video so she could send it out to all the grandkids telling her about the Christmas party we're doing. So syllabi can do things, but you got to have that right mental set and what your goals are with specific videos.
Yeah, I had some fun. It's been a few months now, and I want to go back and finish the series, but the founder of Syllabi, he had, I don't know if he's still doing the whole series on ancient culture, Greek or Roman culture. And Austin had, at the time, been uh, experimenting with what's getting higher ranks. And he even has this feature saying these are the hot topics within syllabi. So let's say your goal is to use it as a way to drive traffic. Um, you can do that. And so I experimented with ancient Indian um, philosophy and the history of meditation. And it
Ah,
was within within 2 days I had 500 views of normally where I wouldn't get that many views.
yeah. I was gonna say, how is that going? Because I know like most people just do like ancient history in general, but we have had that one. There's one person that does Irish history, and that channel blew up like crazy.
I'm
So
hoping, yeah,
I
I'm
was
hoping,
wondering how yours was doing.
yeah. So I actually had really good reaction. I could see my numbers going up,
Yeah,
and I had to pause it because there was other stuff going on in my life. That was a few months ago. So I thought I'm going to definitely go back because I have the knowledge. I know the history of a lot of these things, and I'm also good with research. So I messaged Austin of Syllabi saying, "Hey, you guys are missing some of the visuals that will go with, let's say, I'm talking about
yeah,
a certain period within Indian history on a certain meditation practice." And so he said, "You just wait, it'll be there." And it was within a few days or weeks. And so
yeah.
my next project, wish me that it blows up, is going to be a series on meditation and going even back to Buddhism and all those different histories.
That's cool.
And it's,
You, yeah,
well, because I remember I did my homework and I gave it a script. And then I came back to Perplexity, which I do a cross reference to see
yep,
if it's accurate. And surprisingly, Syllabi did do it accurately. Like they use certain words that were from a period a long time ago from Latin, and I'm like, this is good. It's not bullshit.
wow, yeah. Have you heard of a platform called Make?
No.
Okay, Make.com will let you automate services. So, like, one of the things I do is I could give it like a topic. It you could set it to where it'll ask ChatGPT, all right, what are the top 5 main topics around this topic? Then you could get Perplexity to research all 5 of those and then go back to ChatGPT and write for all 5 of those and then have Perplexity double check it and then have it shoot you an email with all of it in there.
Oh, so it's make.com. I'll probably
Yeah.
I'll follow up with you after our conversation. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of tools I'm mixing and matching now because they seem
Yeah.
to pop up every day. Like the other day, I heard of napkin, then gamma, and they're just fun tools that you can quickly churn out stuff that normally takes you a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I've been so one of my goals for 2025 is to start a software as a service company. So basically in the marketing world, just I know what I want to do. I've just got to learn how to do it. And then it's like in my head every week I check in to see like it's on my list. So every week I try to spend at least 3 hours researching more and more. Well, every week I'll learn about 2 or 3 new AI projects that would make it even faster and easier. Like I can't even remember. There was one Bolt. You just tell it what you want, and it like generated a whole front end for me. And then it's like, do you want me to create the back end too? And I'm like, uh, let me think about that because we're moving way too fast for me right now.
Yeah.
And it like all the code and everything.
We need to have a follow-up podcast just on that because I'm very similar place in a very similar place where I've been this powerhouse of learning these different technologies, and my mission is to help female entrepreneurs who are intimidated or feeling overwhelmed with navigating the digital space, but they know their why. They know why they
Yeah.
do what they do. And the why is never because I want to become an expert in all these technologies. It's something very much that speaks to your heart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd love to
Like
talk
mine.
more about these. Maybe that can be its own episode, but for sure, that is going to be the next step. But there's so much coming out. It can be overwhelming. And ironically, I just a few weeks ago, someone that is well known in the podcasting space, she posted something that reflected, oh my gosh, like it was an epiphany for me that she hasn't adopted AI yet. It was almost like this timid thing, like, should I
Yeah.
say it? And here I thought I was behind the curve. And then I'm realizing that I'm actually okay. I'm not behind
Yeah.
the curve.
Yeah. Have you played with Notebook LM?
No. Oh my gosh, now
Oh,
I'm behind the curve.
okay. So as a podcaster, it is incredibly scary. So basically you can be like, hey, here's a website address. And it's like, okay, cool. I'll go scrape the whole entire website. Let's take a look at it. And then you could be like, hey, generate a podcast on this subject based off this website. And it will have a full conversation between two people, like they were talking on a podcast. It's, I, I'll send you a video of, I did one for my religious channel of one of the old school, old, like 1800s Baptist preachers. I took one of his sermons, gave it to him. I was like, hey, I need a 40-minute podcast on this. It generated like 28 minutes, but it was still like, I played it for my parents and they're like, man, those guys are going in depth on this sermon. And I'm like, that is all AI. And they're like, what?
It's emulating a conversation.
Yes.
And that's kind of like there's that area, the gray area where I'm sure you've been challenged or aware of, like authenticity, ethics.
Yeah.
And I recently heard through it was through podmash.com. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yep.
them, but the founder Alex had said that, and he ran a survey about it that um, there's a trend going on having podcast guests being interviewed by AI, and it's very disturbing because you get invited not knowing that
Yeah.
it's an AI, and I am firmly against that. I'm like, if you're going, if podcasting is all about the human connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And it really defeats the purpose. I mean, in all reality, it does. You're trying to get out there, talk to people, let your knowledge be shared. And I mean, eventually there will be a place for AI podcasts. It's more of how is it going to fall into the realm of everything. So I don't, it's like Pandora's box. It's been opened. There's no closing it now. Now we just got to figure out how everything plays out.
Yeah, and
So,
that's where the responsibility still is on us. We still need to
yeah.
talk about ethics and still talk about authenticity. And I don't think that um, they're polar to one another. Authenticity is not opposite of AI. It's really how you're using it because technology's been around for a while. If you don't want to use technology, then you may never have. I don't know. Like there was this metaphor
Yeah.
used about the printing press, and when it first came out, the original long time ago presses,
Yeah.
there was like a debate, like, will it take away from humanity?
Yeah. Like you just start mass producing everything.
Yeah.
So there's still a whole bunch of like, I just interviewed Carrie. She's going to be on my podcast. And that's her whole spill. She's like, I love AI, but we need to get some regulation in place Like especially if you're at like a corporate job, your corporation should have some regulation for AI in
Yeah.
place.
And I'm putting,
Just
oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, just for the protection of your company. I
Yeah.
mean, most of these have to train off of some kind of data. What kind of data are you giving it?
Yes. And maintaining or protecting the copyright of your content. I'm actually running a workshop on that topic sometime next year, where I go through the basics for a solopreneur, like what disclosure do you need to have on your website and on your copy, and what tools are you using? Because it's going to be something where you have to constantly update it. Let's say I wasn't using Claude, say a week ago, but if I'm using Claude to cross-reference stuff and iterate, I still need to disclose that.
Yeah, yeah. There's there's gonna have to be a lot more disclosures out and what you're doing. Like you said, just keeping up with the updates. Like with my make formulas, every time one of them updates, I have to go in there and change it all. Just so, I mean, it'll still run properly, but if I want the best of the best, I have to go in there and update it all. So how long you can't, it's not, it's AI, but you can't just let it set it and forget it either.
No,
So
that even goes back to what I have in ChatGPT, and you mentioned this, but not everyone is aware, which is what I'm going to teach again also next year, is how to have your custom voice and brand guide inside of ChatGPT. So now, like when I'm on the prompt, I do at Omni Mindfulness brand. So it realizes, I'll say like, well, who are my three target audiences? What do they need? What are their pain points? And then I add another custom prompt saying what are things that they will be looking for in 2025 based on their current needs. And so, anyways, this is the dance that I have, but it's more powerful when you have trained that chat GPT. But like you were saying, it's constantly up requires updating because
yep,
I know more now about my target audience than I did 6 months ago.
yeah, totally. And it it is good that it's always updating, and it is like training it on your brand. That is one of the biggest things that I've done this year for any of my stuff. Just straight knowing my brand. So I can ask it anything, like even my colors. What are my colors? And it'll spit it out and tell me.
Yeah. Well, Casey, I may have to invite you as a speaker when I teach that next year because that's going to be one of my workshops, and it's always good to have a case study with things.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Like even so on Austin's channel, I just did a video for him. Like even in that, I told everybody you want to build it out. So you go ahead and get your colors, go ahead and get your designs. You could train it on being your brand. So anytime you have to ask it a question, it already knows everything about you. There's no reason to go ahead and start all the way back from zero.
Absolutely. And now my approach to anything when I'm writing, like I write for a magazine, but I also have my own newsletters. And each time I start writing a new column, like for next 2025, I spend the first couple of hours just telling it, hey, here's the outline, the framework, the style. Let's remind you of my ICA. Let's remind you of my brand voice. And then I'll have it do a sample output for like, draft one of article one. And it knows how I start. Like, hey there, sweet souls, welcome back. Like that's
Yeah.
how I
Yeah. Have you played with the projects yet?
know which oh I just heard
Oh,
about it today.
okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely play with those.
But I heard
The-
somebody called them folders, and then somebody was reminding whoever said that they're a little bit different than folders per se. that they function more like projects within Claude.
Yeah. So basically, folders is a good way to put it. But inside that folder, you can give it all your files. And then, so it gets all your files, plus there's a custom instructions. So you could put in there like like always your customer details in there. Any instructions that you want, like always right at a eighth grade level, um, things like that. And then any chat that you start in that folder has access to all of that information.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, that's the part. Like I started doing one for one of my clients just to build out schema and started pulling in all his stuff. And all I had to do is like, hey, I need a schema layout for this business. And it just started spitting everything out. It already had all of his details, office hours, phone numbers, just because it already had it all in the files.
Oh,
So
that would be
it's,
powerful because I'm working on several pieces of services that I'm putting together. If I could give it all the details, that would be,
yeah,
or like
yeah,
the
just to,
I write for, right?
yeah. So like one of the things that I like today, I watched Austin's webinar today about affiliate marketing. And in my head, I'm like, I have access to everything Austin's ever done for Syllabi. Why am I not grabbing transcripts of every video that he's ever done? It gives you affiliate marketing stuff. I could upload all of that in there and just be like, hey, write me a 7-day follow up email sequence to get them to purchase and just get everybody on a list, get people signed up, get them in the list in my series. And by the end of it, they've got some good information that they have to sign up. I mean, there's so many different possibilities. It's like bringing it back to mindset. You have to you have to unleash your limiting belief in what it can do and just know it could do everything. You just got to be able to guide it.
That is such a lovely way and powerful way to wrap up our conversation because I could easily talk to you on any one of those deeper topics. And if you're willing to come back, we'll go deeper on them because it's informative for you and I. It's almost like being in a mastermind, only it's a podcast
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I I love doing these because it's nice talking to someone that knows the industry and gets excited about it too.
And I don't think I've shared this with you, but when I received my bachelor's, this is like long ago. It was in computer science and software engineering, which was one of the early days of software design
Yeah.
and engineering. And I had to uh, focus on two areas to get my degree, and I ended up focusing in three, and AI was one of them. And this is like
Less.
before, and so I remember thinking I was going to pursue AI, but I was told it was a dead end field. Now I'm like, oh,
Now
but
it's like, man, I should have just ignored everybody.
I should
Shit.
have because I thought that was my only series in college where I had straight A's. Because somehow I got it. It was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. I ended up going in user experience, but
Yeah, UX is always a good field. I've got lots of buddies in UX and they do really well.
it's fun. Well, Casey, I hope to have you back. I hope we can go deeper. And since you and I have that connection with Syllabi, I'm going to probably reach out and have some offline conversations or
Yep.
off podcasts because you mentioned several things, like half a dozen things I was taking notes. I'd love to talk to you about those.
Awesome. That sounds great.
Any parting words for those who are listening and want to know about how can AI, in particularly Syllabi, streamline their life as a business owner?
So as a business owner, man, so like you could use Syllabi to make any type of promotional videos for your company. I mean, I've done videos on pest control, pooper scoopers, bell bonds, plumbers. I mean, you, it's not just AI generated images. If you have like little B-roll footage from your business or photos, like if you're a fence company, you could import jobs that you're working on and just have it generate a quick video for you and upload that video. And all you got to do is swap out images realistically. So, especially if you've trained like ChatGPT to know about your business, all you got to do is be like, hey, we replaced this fence. It got knocked over by a hurricane. Give me a short little quick script and it'll spit one out telling everybody about your business. And then you just send it off to Syllabi. It generates a video. You upload your photos into the video and post it to your YouTube or Facebook, Instagram, whatever you want. TikTok,
I mean,
Threads.
it just reminds the word empower comes to mind. A small business owner who may not be necessarily high with a budget or
Yeah.
access to a budget, um, or savvy or connected, but putting together these tools empowers them to get their voice and get
Yeah,
people
get you heard.
get you heard. Yeah. Well, thank you, Casey. I hope you feel better soon, and we'll talk.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.